Hello everyone, let's jump right in. Customizing hotkeys and beyond all reason can be confusing and intimidating. There is no user interface where you can easily set hotkeys, so we will have to get into some plain text files in order to configure them. This will be nothing but a basic guide to get you started. Anything further you will have to do on your own. I will be demonstrating this on Windows, as most of you probably use that, but the same basic concepts exist and apply on Linux and on Mac. To customize hotkeys in bar, first open Beyond All Reason. On this modal or window that appears, select Open Install Directory. It should open you up in this data directory. If not, and it opens you up in the Beyond All Reason directory, open the data directory. Next, to ensure everything goes smoothly in terms of file extensions, we're going to make them visible if you haven't done so previously. Click on View in the top of your File Explorer and check File Name Extensions. Let's jump back over to Beyond All Reason and click Start. Once the program has started, click on Skirmish, Advanced, and remove the AI. This will ensure we can do proper testing without being attacked. Start the game. Once the match has started, click on Settings. Under Control, Hotkeys, Keybind Preset, click on the drop-down and select Custom. Now, let's Alt-Tab to our Open File Explorer again. Back in our data directory, you'll see a new file has been created, uikeys.txt. This file is created whenever we select Custom, so if you ever delete it by mistake, repeat those previous steps to recreate it. Selecting Custom will not overwrite an existing uikeys file, so don't worry about your data being lost. Let's open the file. Okay, now what in the world is all this? This, my friend, is where all the magic happens, and we customize our hotkeys. Let me try to simplify it as best as I can, but this is complex and intentionally so that you can personalize hotkeys as deep as your heart desires. First, you'll notice that these hotkeys right now match the grid settings. That is, the default uikeys.txt file, or custom hotkeys, will be the same as grid hotkeys. If you open Beyond All Reason Backup and click on Keys in the top right, you'll see how the game corresponds to what's in the uikeys file. Be careful though, as this image is just a static image. Any changes you make to the uikeys file will not update this image in-game. Second, jumping back into our uikeys file, you'll notice more or less 3 columns. From the left to the right, we have bind, key input, and then the in-game action. Explanations of the in-game actions will be discussed later in the video when we talk about documentation. Any does exactly what it means. No matter what other key or keys is or are pressed, if you press the following key, that action will be done regardless. Third, SC is another seeming anomaly. What is SC? No idea, and it doesn't matter what it stands for. Potentially it is an abbreviation for screen, as any command using SC will directly interact with the game. Maybe someone more technical than I can let me know what SC stands for. But, nonetheless, SC commands will let us know which key must be pressed. Basically, any keys we press in-game will be SC_key. For example, if we select our commander and press R in-game, we'll see it brings up the repair icon. In our uikeys file, if we search up repair, we'll see it shows the input is SC_R. Okay, let's customize some hotkeys. Let's imagine I don't like the cloak hotkey by default. Opening keys by default in-game, we see it is bound to the letter K. If I search up cloak in uikeys.txt, what's this? Why are there 4 commands? Well, if you get into this case, I just recommend updating all of the commands. I'm going to update all the cloak commands from K to Control+C, as that's easier to remember. C for cloak, right? I also know if I open up my in-game keys image that Control+C isn't mapped to anything, so it's an easy choice for me. Back in the game, I select my commander and hit Control-C after updating and saving my file. Nothing happens. You have to reload the file. Let's click on Settings, Control, Hotkeys, Keybind Preset again, and in the drop-down change it from Custom to another setting, and then back to Custom. If I close the menu, hit Control-C, and boom, my commander is now cloaked. If we hover over the UI at the bottom, we'll see that Visible/Cloaked has updated to show us the new hotkey. Cool! That's one way you can verify whether your new command has taken. How about another? I don't love Patrol on its default H. It's a little far from where my fingers rest. Let's update that to Control-Z. I search for Patrol in my file, and I update rows 198 and 199 to be Control plus SC_Z. I then save the file. Let's reload the UI keys file as before. And voila! It behaves just as I expect it to. Hovering over the UI once more, we can see that Patrol has been updated to be Control-Z instead of H. Now how about building hotkeys? This one's interesting. Let's scroll to line 56 in our UIKeys.txt file. Keep in mind, if you've modified anything above, it may be a different line. We're looking for grid menu category under our actions. In-game, if I select the builder, hit Z and then W, I will have selected metal storage. Okay, so which one is W in our UI keys file? Well, if we look for SC_W, we see that that key maps to grid menu underscore key 3.2. So this means it first selects the row and then the column. Row 3 being the third one up on our menu, and column 2 from left to right, which corresponds to metal storage. If you want to get deeper into customizing your hotkeys, I recommend reviewing the official documentation. Once you have done that, and if you still have further questions, the Beyond All Reason Discord server has a channel named Keybinding Support where you can ask any question. On the screen is some documentation that has been put together by the developers. I will leave a link in the description of this video to this documentation. Keybind-guide.markdown will give everything we've done so far. I recommend reading the Keybinds explained file as the most important one. For example, I wanted to create some commands that selected idle factories. This is a hotkey I loved in Age of Empires, but could not figure out in Beyond All Reason. Fortunately, the documentation goes over that. The custom army selection file will include many of these unique commands. I've added these two rows to my UI keys file. Now, in-game, if I press Control-D, it will select any idle factory I have, and Control-Shift-D will select all of them. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this beginner's guide got you started on hotkeys, and will hopefully get you playing the game the way you want to play it. Let me know in the comments if you have any follow-up questions, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day, afternoon, or night.